All right. We are live. Live. And we're hoping to press some bets. We're going to press some bets here. And we're going to talk about how to press your bets because there's different ways to do it. So we're going to talk about the what I would call the 3 different ways, and then how to ask for your bets to be pressed. And then we'll get into some Q&A and live chat as well. So what we're going to do, look, I already got a thumbs up. Who is that? Chris, what's up? We're just starting, so I don't know. We'll get some people jumping in here pretty soon. But we're going to talk about pressing the bets, and I know a lot of people watch this later. They don't necessarily watch it live. There's a lot of people that watch it live as well. But so I like to try to start fast, get at least the one thing I want to talk about in the video, and then after that, we just start doing some live chat stuff and answering some questions. Hey, what's up, Gary? Gary and Chris in the house, and more people are coming. And give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, you'll see right up here, if you're on your mobile, you'll see right up here that there will be a subscribe button. Hit subscribe, and then you can learn how to play craps on a cruise to earn a free cruise. That's what this channel is all about, so become a subscriber. I know you can't really see that because the words and the chats will come up right there. But wanted to include the logo somewhere. There it is, the Holy Roller. And so we're going to talk about pressing your bets, and we're going to do it from a $10 level. So we're not going to do a $5 table. We're not going to do necessarily a $15 table. We're going to do a $10 table. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to start with the let's start with the 6 and 8 because those are the most common. So we're going to start with the 6 and 8, how to press your bets when you have the 6 and 8. Now, on a Royal Caribbean ship, and just because the way the payouts go on a 6 and 8, it's 7 for every $6. You get $7 for every $6 that you put there. And because you get $7 for every $6 that you put there, you should put in multiples of 6 whenever you bet the 6 and 8. And on a Royal Caribbean ship, when you're playing craps on a cruise to earn a free cruise, they don't allow improper bets. Because sometimes people would say, give me $10 on the 6, and that might work in a regular casino, but on a ship, it's not going to work for a $10 6. You have to do a $12 6 because it goes in multiples of 6. So 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42. Okay, I don't need to keep going, do I? So that's how that goes. Multiples. But the reason why I want to say all those numbers, because it's important to know the numbers that you would press to. Like if you're going to press, you want to press in multiples of 6 on the 6 and the 8. So I'm not going to do both numbers because the same thing would be the 8. So the 6 and 8 pay the same, the 5 to 9 pay the same, and the 4 and 10 pay the same. So whenever you know, there's only 3 different ways to press, or I should say on these 6 numbers, you're only going to press 3 ways. One way on the 4 and 10, one way on the 5 and 9, one way on the 6 and 8. And when you press, there are multiple ways to press. 3 different ways I'm going to talk about today. So the word press if this gets paid, for example, so say a 6 rolls, $12 pays 14. So $12 pays 14, and if you say to the dealer, if you say same bet, they're going to give you your money. So they'll pay you. So you don't have to say, give me my money or pay me. What you mean is you want same bet. You want the same bet on the 6 that you had. So whenever, I guess there's 4 things you can do. You can same bet, you can press by 1 unit, or you can add money and do what's called power press, although you wouldn't say to the dealer, power press me. You know, you would say press, and you can say press by 1 unit. So let's talk about those and see what those are. So first, let's go over press. So if you have $12 on the 6 or the 8 and it hits, you're going to get paid $14. If you say the word press means double. So that means they're going to take $12 because you have $12 there. They're going to take $12 out of the 14 and they're going to put it on top. So press means double, and then they're going to give you $2 change. They'll give you $2 back to your rack. Okay? Now, this actually, I wouldn't recommend this press because let's talk about the scenarios. And I was talking with a good friend of mine, Ryan, over at Mark the Point, and we were talking about a press versus a press and regress. But if you had $14 that you got paid, and then you got another $14 that you got paid, that's 2 times. This would be the first time, then it looks like 24, so it pays 28. That would be the second hit, it would pay 28, and then you bring that down. You're only winning a little bit, and that's okay. But press means double, and that's one option that you could do. So what we were talking about is the fact that many people, they do same bet. So remember when we get paid the $14? So 12 pays 14. If we say same bet, we have our money back and we have an extra $2 because it pays 14. So we have an extra $2. And so a lot of times people are content with that and satisfied with that. But if you're playing more than one number out there, you need to get paid like a larger amount rather than just your money back plus $2. So in order to do that, you want to, hey, what's up, Mike? 85 Bears in the house. And DH, okay, since DH is here and we're talking about the 6 and 8, I'm going to go ahead and move this over to the 8. That's for you, DH. So what's up? All right, so we got an extra $2. When this hits, it pays an extra $2. Again, if you say press, they're going to double it. Well, I wouldn't, like, it's really funny, but I never press my bets like double. There's 2 things that I do. Number 1, I'll press by 1 unit. Okay, so here's an example of if you had the 6 and the 8. Okay, so if you had the 6 and the 8 and they were both $12, they pay 14, right? What I would do is I would press the 6 and 8 by 1 unit each. Instead of doing a press, like if the 8 hit, instead of making the 8 look like 24, I would make both the 6 and the 8 look like 18. And so this would be called, you can say press my 6 and 8 1 unit each. So what that means is it goes by units of 6, so this $2 will still come back. So I still have the same $2 in my rack, but the difference is there's only 5 ways to make a 6, there's 5 ways to make an 8. Together, there's 10 ways to make that combination out of 36 different combinations. Sorry, excuse me, I'm reaching for the dice. There's 36 different combinations of the dice, and there are 10 ways to make a 6 and 8 together. So the reason why I say that is because and I spoke a little bit in chat with Waylon's Way Craps, and he said it really good, and I agree, and I always do it. I always bet the 6 and 8 as a unit. I would never bet just the 6 or the 8. I would bet them as a unit, because as a unit, betting the 6 and 8 together, you have 10 combinations. So if you only bet the 6, you only have 5 combinations. If you only bet the 8, you only have 5 combinations. So treat the 6 and 8 as one bet is what I would do. And you might see people do this a lot. If they just play the 6 and 8. And that's because there are 10 combinations out of 36. So they're high probability numbers. So I would press by 1 unit. So we're talking about the different ways you press. And so press means double. You can press by 1 unit, because if you happen, let's just say you happen to own one of the 6 or 8, that pain. So let's say, sorry, let me get the 14 over here. So you have the 6 and it pays 14, and you say, press my 6 by 1 unit. Then you would get, it would look like 18. And then you would have $8 that you could bring back to your rack. So your $12 investment costs you $8. You could think of it like that. I would view the 6 and the 8 as one bet. So I would put 24 on 6 and 8. So there's 24. It pays 14, right? If either one of them hit, it pays 14. Then I would say press the 6 and 8 1 unit each. All right. The other thing you could do, if you happen to just hits, you could say, give me a $12 8. So that's not necessarily a press, but it is using the money to increase your odds of winning. Okay, that's what it's all about. All right, so now let's say we got $14. We're gonna press. Okay, so this is how you'd say it. Right when it hits, a 6 rolls, press my 6 and 8 1 unit each. And what they'll do is they'll go like this, $2, and they'll press your 6 and 8 1 unit each. All right, so press, if you just say press and it hits a 6, they're going to put it on the 6, and the 6 will be double. So press means double. You have to say press 1 unit, okay? If you want not a double, I should say. So let's go to 12 again, because we're going to assume both these, when would I use them separate? If I'm not going to press 1 unit each, I would do what's called a power press. And so let's talk about that. And again, you wouldn't say to the dealer, power press me. You wouldn't say like, power press, you know. What that does is, say a 6 hits, or because DH is in the house, we're going to say the 8 hits, because every time we're going to have the $14, and remember, this would be $24. Now, this is why you need to know what the amounts are by 6. If you add $6, then you would be at $30. So a power press is going not just a press, but to the next level. And so in order $6. Now we have an extra 2, so all we have to do is throw in $4. So we throw in $4, and then the 14 that we won plus the 4 that we throw in will make this look like 80, or sorry, the 8 look like 30. 30. I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, so this would look like 30. So let's do that one more time. 12, 14. So let's say the 8 hit. Okay, so the 8 hit, and what you would do when the 8 hits is you'd go, make it look like 30. Make it look like 30 instead of power press, right? So the dealers don't use the term power press. They use the term make it look like And so make it look like 30, or you could say take it to 30. Okay? So then they would make it look like 30. So that looks like 30, right? All right. So $12, it hits. Once it hits, you throw in $4. So the total of $16, and you have a $30 bet. So you have a $30 bet that only cost you $16. Pretty good, yeah? Is the live feed choppy at all to anybody? Just want to make sure. Connection issues. Oh man, connection. So it's choppy. I could tell it's choppy because there's not a lot of people watching. Man, this was going to be a great video. This video was going to be amazing. Oh my, thanks. Oh man. Okay. We're going to do, well, I'll probably redo this sometime again, but sorry about the choppiness. So this, you know, we could talk about choppy table. I should do a choppy table and roll out when the feed is choppy. That's what I should do. All right. So 30 pays 35. So if that hit, that would pay 35. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just jump. Like if I was pressing the 6 and 8, how would I press the 6 and 8? So because we had $16 in and we have a $30 bet, we get paid 35. Now this might sound strange, but I would throw in $2 more. Now, the reason why I'm throwing in $2 more is because I'm going to go to the next level in my press, and I'm not going to, because you might say press, what is press? Press is double. So that would take it to 60. But for me, I need to lock up some winnings before I go to 60. So let me show you how I would do that. We have $30 that pays 35, and the reason why I'm throwing in $2, okay, is because I'm going to go to 42. Okay, I'm going to bring a quarter back to my rack, and I'm going to add $12. Now remember, you always add in units of 6 or multiples of 6. And this would be better for the dealer. So instead of going to 36, just go to 42. Okay, it's just better that way. So 42 pays 49. But look, we're taking a quarter back to our rack. Remember, we put in $16 and we're getting a quarter. So that's a difference of $9 on our investment. So now, at least on the 8, we're out of the hand plus $9. Okay? So now if the 8 hits, we're going to throw in $1. So the 8 hits, we throw in $1 because it pays 50 for 1 or $49. Okay? Now, if you're going to same bet on the 6 with $12 or the 5 or the 9 with $10, it pays 15. You should always, it pays 14, but you should always throw in $1, 15 for 1, because then they would pay you 15 for your 1 instead of paying $14. Now, if you're going to press both of them, or if you're going to do what I suggest and go from 12 to 30, then don't throw them $1, throw them $4. Now you might say, so this pays, now remember we brought back the 25, this pays 50 for 1, right? So we got 50, and you can easily go to 60 now, okay? And then we're gonna talk about this one again. So you can easily go to 60 now. So watch this. We take back to our rack $32, and now we're at 60. So we take back the 25, which made us up $9. Now we put back 32, we're up $41. We're up $41 on, and so let's do it. Let's do it. So watch how many, count the hits, okay? we put it down, the 6 hits one time, okay? You can throw in a nickel. You don't have to actually throw in $4, but you could throw in a nickel. They'll give you a dollar change, and then it will look like 30, right? So that's one hit, right? One hit. Second hit, right? The second hit pays 35. We throw in $2. We say make it be able to stack that. So that's the second hit. And second hit, we're out of the hand, but we're out plus $9. Third hit, the third hit, we throw in a dollar, okay? And then we get 50. And it looks like 60. And so we have a profit of, I should have held it aside. I forgot to put it aside. But we have a profit of $9 on the first hit, right? Sorry, on the second hit. And then when it hits again, so first hit, second hit, right? Two hits, we have, I forgot because I have to calculate how much we put in, but we're bringing money back as we press, okay? Now, so press, collect, regress are the 3 terms that we want to use whenever we do this. Press, collect, regress, and you can collect as many times as you want until you decide to regress, okay? So I'm not saying to just press once and then collect and regress on the same motion, although you can. So now 60 pays 70, so we would throw in a nickel and say same bet, or, okay, because if we throw in we throw in a nickel, we get 75 because it's $70. We get 75 for 5. Now, you can choose to throw in the nickel or the $5 because you can take it to 90. So let's talk about it again. From 12, 30, 42, 60, 90. 5 times. Okay. But that's you want to hit 5 times. So because we hit 1 time and it's at 30, 2 times and it's at 42, 3 times and it's at 60. The 4th hit we can be at 90. Okay, and the reason why you throw in that is either to get the 75 for 5, or you can tell them to take it to 90, because what they would pay you, and I throw it in just because if the table's moving fast, I'll go to 90. I throw it in, and if they give me 75 and I say take it to 90 and they don't take it to 75, then I just collect. I don't try to stop the game. So what would happen is they would give us 70, but if we throw this in, it's 75. But the reason why I throw this in is so that they can have, just so you know, if I throw this in, they're going to have 75 in their hand, and I can still say take it to 90. They're going to keep 30 and give me 50, okay? And then I don't have to worry about all the the nickels coming back unless I need them. But now they hit it to, after the 4th hit, so we have $14, and after it hits 4 times, we brought a lot of money back to our rack, and we have a $90 6 that pays 105. So if that hits, it's 105. Okay, so $105, and this is when I would, if I could get out of the hand, this is when I would get out of the hand. After I get the 105, then I go back down to 30. I don't go back down to 12, but I go down to 30. So then if I do, that's called a regress. Then I'm taking another 150, 165 back to the rack, and I still have a $30 six out there, and I actually made money instead of left it all out there. Okay, now that is 5 hits, 5 hits on the six. There's 5 ways to make a six, and what you want to do when you choose this, when you're choosing if you are going to press, you want to decide when you have your $12 on there. This would be my advice. You have $12 on there. How many hits are you playing for? So, like for instance, that system that I just showed you, or sequence, I'm playing the six for 5 hits. And once I hit it 5 times, I'm taking it to 30. Okay? And 30 would be free money at that point if it got there, but I'd have a $30 six with profit, but I know that I played for 5 times on the six, 5 hits on the six. And so I think because there's 5 ways, it's good to say I'm going to play for 5 times. The 5 and the 9, there's 4 ways. So maybe we play 4 ways for that instead of playing for 5 hits on the 5 or something. Now, I wouldn't recommend doing 4 hits on the 4. I'm going for 5 hits on the 5, 6 hits on the 6, 8 hits on the 8, 9 hits on the 9, and 10 hits. I'm going for 10 hits on the 10 before I bring it down or regress, right? I wouldn't recommend that. Think about the times that it has. There's 4 ways to make a 5 and a 9. There's 3 ways to make a 4 and a 10. So maybe we're looking for 3 ways rather than 4 ways on the 4. Any questions in the chat? And then if not, I'm going to move on to the 5 and 9. So I think it's important to remember to always have the money in your hand so that if that number hits, you could throw it in quickly, okay? Okay, let's see. When's my next cruise? March 18th through the 22nd on the Allure out of Orlando. And the reason why I'm sharing that is because I'm going with Jeremy from Color Up, from the Color Up YouTube channel, and we're gonna do some content and hopefully get him a free cruise, show him how to do it, and that's why we announced it. Normally, all of my dates of what cruises I will be on are available to my channel members. So feel free to become a channel member, and you'll get access to all the cruises that I'm on, and I'm usually on a cruise once a month. So the next one is March. I took a February off. I did 3 cruises in December, 1 in January. Took February off because my son is hopefully they're going to state with their basketball team. He's a senior this year, and they just passed divisionals, and this weekend will be regionals, and then the following weekend will be state. So hopefully they'll go to state. All right, ready to talk about the 5 and 9? Unless we have, okay, so your bets, so number of bets have to be in multiples of 6. No, that's excuse me. Multiples of 6 on the 6 and 8 because it pays 7 for every 6. $7 for every 6. So in order to get a proper payout, you want to play a multiples of $6 on the 6 and 8. So 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42. What I'm suggesting is to go from 12 to 30 to 42 to 60 to 90. That's what I'm suggesting. Forget all those other numbers is what I'm trying to say. This would be good to have a graph too. I should probably do a graph sometime. So everything else, multiples of 5 is fine. But yeah, and Chris Majors, part of the Blue Wrench Club, is answering that question, I believe. So here we go. Let's do the 5, and we're going to start with, and this is the same on the 5 and the 9, and we're going to start with $10, okay? So now we have $10, and we're going we're going to, yeah, yeah, state champs. I mean, I hope they get it. In Colorado, we're in Colorado, so, and it's not the biggest school because we're in northern Colorado, so it's a lot of the farm towns and different things around here. So it's I forget what if it's 2A. I should know more. I just don't. I don't know which one it is, but so anyway, now we have a $10 five. Okay. Number one rule on a 5 and a 9 is to have a dollar in your hand. Because, let's talk about it, it would pay 14. And if it pays 14 and you say press, which I'm suggesting that nobody ever presses, like, press means double, and what I'm saying is don't press, okay? Because press means double, so that would take a $10 to a $20. Now, if we had a 5 and 9 and we got paid $14 and I want to treat them the same just like I did the 6 and 8, then if I wanted to, I need to choose this before I start playing. Am I going to treat them as one bet or as by itself? Because if they pay 14, I'm going to say press the 5 and 9 1 unit each. So either I'm going to either press 1 unit, and if I do press 1 unit, I'm taking them both to 15, right? If I don't, if that's not the way I'm doing it, then I'm throwing in $1. Okay, whoa. I'm throwing in $1, and chances are they may ask for a dollar because it's 14, and because it's 14, they usually say throw me a dollar so that they could pay you 15 for one. So you could say throw in a dollar and say make it look like 25, or take me to 25, or make it look like a quarter. And so a $10 bet throwing in $1 makes it a $25 bet, and it pays $35. Now, you might say, Brian, what if, so that's one hit on the 5. And so the 5, there's 4 ways to make a 5 and a 9. What if you wanted to wait and you did the 1 unit each? Okay, so here we go. $10, right? $10. It pays 14, right? Then we'd go 1 unit each on the 5 and 9. We'd bring this $4 back. Then if any one of the 5 or 9 hit, it would pay 21. 21. And then we can say, make it look like a quarter, make it look like a quarter, and still take another 1 back. So then we'd have a quarter on both of them. From there, I would probably treat them as their own, like simple, like they're like so. But that's a 1 hit on the 5, or 2 hits on the 5, or 1 hit on the 9 and 1 hit on the 5. We would be at a quarter each. So it's more combinations, but I'll just do if it was just the 5, okay? So 5 looks like 25. We threw in $1, and it's the 5. Now when that hits, it's going to get paid. And so the next step I would do, because we're going to do 42, because the next step would be 42 on the 6 and 8, then my next step on the 5 is $35, okay? Bringing back a quarter. Okay, so remember I bet 10, I threw in 1, so I'm in at $11, but I'm bringing back a quarter. So that's a free bet out there for $35. Now the $35, see if this sounds familiar. If those of you have been watching on the 6 and 8, a $42 6 and 8 pays 49. So you throw in a dollar if it hits at 49 or $42. The 5 and 9 at $35 pays 49. So you throw in a dollar and you get paid 50. And then you say, make it look like 50. All right. So 1 hit, it looks like a quarter. 2 hits, it looks like 35. And, so 14 went to 25. Then it went to 35, right? Then it goes to 50. So in order to make it look like 50, we're actually going to bring $36 back to our rack. All right. Now that 50 pays 70, okay? And again, you can have a nickel ready. 50 pays 70. And the reason why you want to do that is so that you, 70 will pay, it'll be 75 for 5. And then we'll make that look like 75. Okay? So again, the first hit looks like a quarter. The second hit looks like 35. The third hit looks like 50. And the fourth hit, it's 75. So what are we playing for? We're playing for 5 hits on the 5, because if we get 5 hits on the 5, then we will get 105. If we get 105 for $75, just like $90 on the 6 and 8, we will go to 25 and bring back 155. That's so 5 hits on all the inside numbers pretty much. You're playing for 5 hits, not 1, but you're bringing it back each time. After the second hit, you're out of it, so it's free money out there. So I think that's important. Now, what I see a lot of people do is they just leave it all out there and they press everything the whole time until they get their hit. Well, you don't know if you're going to get 5 hits. We're playing for 5 hits, but after 2 hits, we got our money back, okay? 2 hits, we got our money back, and 5 hits, we're making a lot of money, all right? Let me check the chat and see if there's any. Yeah, basketball, Nehemiah. My 5th son was born, and I named him Nehemiah 5, and his jersey number is number 5. So Nehemiah 5 is number 5, and he's a senior this year. All right, you ready to do the 4 and 10? So what we're going to do is the 4 and 10, and this one a little bit easier. It's not as aggressive, but it is easier because when the 4 hits or the 10, I treat them as their own for the first one, and then the second one I'll treat them as together. And so I'll explain what I mean. Because the 5 and 9, we could treat them together for the first hit and then on their own after that. But the 4 or 10 will pay $18. So it'll pay $18, and all you have to do is say buy it for a quarter. You don't have to throw in any money. You just say buy it for a quarter, okay? So then on a Royal Caribbean ship, the VIG, you have to pay the VIG up front. So it'll look like a quarter, and you have to pay $1. So if you had a $10 4 10 and it hit and you said buy it for a quarter, you're going to get $2 back to your rack. All right, now if it hits, then back to back, then I'm treating it by itself. If the 10 hits, then I do the same thing and the 10 becomes a quarter. And then I have an extra $2, and then the 10 becomes a quarter, right? Once the 4 and 10 are together, then whenever I hit one of them, I press them together, all right? So what we'll do is we'll press them together, and then I'll press them individually. 25, throwing in $1 is going to pay $50, okay? So this would be the second hit. Second hit, it pays 50, and I would probably throw in the other $2 because I'd make it look like 50 and 50, okay? 50 and 50. Then if it hits for the third time, it would pay $100. Either the 4 or the 10 would pay $100. Then when it pays $100, remember I started with 20. I would not regress the 4 and 10. That's just me. I would get paid at this level, and I would collect the first one, so I'd get 100. Then the next time I would get paid, I would press and make it 100 and 100. So I wouldn't go to 75 on the 4 and 10. I would go from 10 to 25 to 100 to 50 to 100. And then I would just stay there and I would never regress. So I'm only playing for 4 hits on either the 4 or 10, not just the 4 or not just the 10, but I'm playing for 4 hits on either one of them, if that makes sense. So uh, probably say 5 hits if you get the 10, the 4 and the 10 to get to 25 each. But if it was just the 4, remember the first one I'm saying buy it for a quarter. The second one, I'm throwing in I'm throwing in $2 because the second one I'm bringing a quarter back off of my 10, and then it looks like 50. And then I probably, if it's at 50 and the 10 was still at $10, I know this sounds strange because maybe the 10 never hit. Why do it? If the 4 hits at 50, then I'm bringing back 50 and I'm placing the 10 for 50. So I'm automatically getting the 10 up to where it needs to be. And then the next level, like if I did that, then I would collect $100. After I collect $100, then I am, because I just collected 50 and then I put up 50, and then either one of them hit, I'm collecting 100, and then I'm going, the next hit, I'm going to 100 on each, and they would pay 200. But I would never regress a 4 and 10. That's just me. So that's the way that I would suggest pressing. Now, most people would say, what about more? What about pressing more? Have you pressed more? Yes, I have pressed more, but I want to teach people the first main steps of starting low. So what I did is I taught you how to start with $64 across. So $64, you can get up to, so let me just count it out, because and it would take a lot of hits, but I'll just count it out where I would be before I would regress. 75 and 75, and then 90 and 90, right? So there is 90 and 90. So that's, sorry, and then I guess the next, this is a good place, but I would go heavy on the 4 and 10 to 100 before I would regress them. But these ones I would regress back down. So that's kind of what I would do. The 4 and 10 pay so good when they hit, and especially if they keep hitting more and more, you want to just leave them there. So, so then we'd have 100, 200, 300, 400, and $30. So $430 that you would have out there just by using the casino money to press a little bit. Starting with 64, that's a good pressure. But this is what most people do. Sooner or later, you're gonna, the 7 will come and you'll lose all that. So when that happens, so say we hit the 5 and we get paid 105, and then we go back down to a quarter, and then the same thing happens with the 9, and then we go back down to a quarter, and then the 8 hits. So once we got up here, then the 8 hits, because you want to treat each one as its own. So maybe the 5 went down to a quarter because it did its job, and maybe the 8 hit a couple times, and maybe the 6 is only 60 right here, So you'll have like different amounts, but based on the amounts that you're doing, you'll know how many times it hit. So on the way down, you'll have a quarter again on the 5. That means you're waiting for a 6th hit on the 5. And if you get a 6th hit on the 5, and it is 35, I mean, at that point, instead of going to 35, I would probably just go to 50, skip a level, and then 50 would pay 70, and I would go to 75 and collect the rest, and then the black chip, and so, once you start getting black chips, every roll is $100. It's a good place to be. and this is when I would press it. So say I got everything up, and when would I press it? Because I had just went down, I went down, I went down, but I know I'm getting black chips. Once I get 6 black chips, then I'm going up to another level, which we won't talk about that level in this video, because then I'm going 100, 120. Actually, I like just going to 150. So I like to go to 150 on the 6 and 8, and 100 on the 5 and 9, and then I'll go 150 on the 5 and 9, and then, believe it or not, I just go from 150 on the 6 and 8 to 300 on the 6 and 8. I don't. There's nothing in between that for me. So I should write this out. That would be cool to write it out and have like I'll do a video and then I'll post it like on a screen where people can take a screenshot of the presses. All right, let's see. Chris, which one are you talking about there if you're still here? The add 15 for the first 3 hits gets you to 50. Then start adding quarters. Which one are you talking about? 15, probably the 5. Just keep pressing 15 at a time. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to simplify the pressing. So say if you have the 410, okay? So what I'll do is I'm gonna do this one more time, and I'm just gonna do it fast, quick, in a hurry, in a way where I'm just gonna show you. So 10, 25, 50, 100. All right. So 4 different presses. This is 1 hit, 2 hits, 3 hits, right? So this is what it looks like after 1 hit. This is what it looks like after 2 hits. This is what it looks like after 3 hits. And then I would leave it there, and then hopefully get a 4th, 5th, 6th, whatever. Pays 200. So that's what I would do right there. So now the 5 would be a $10. Then it would be $25. So those are the same, but you do have to throw in $1 here. Here you don't have to throw in $1. Then it would go to 35. So this is probably, some people would say just go to 50 there, but I don't. I go to 35. Then I go to 50. Then I go to 75. So more hits. I guess if I did go to 50 here, I could put this up. I could skip this level, but you get paid $50 for 50 for 1 on a $35 5. So that's kind of why I do that. All right, let's do the $12 6. So $12 goes to $30. Goes to, oh, I need to bring, sorry, I got these all over the place here. Goes to $42, right? And then from 42 goes to 60, and 60 goes to 90. So that's kind of the progressions that I would do. So in other words, the reason why I wanted to show this is because I'm skipping different, like I'm skipping the because if you just press by 1 unit, you know how many times it would take you to get where you want to get, or it would be so confusing because you just be like $5 at a time, $5 at a time, and you'll never get like paid a black chip, like $100 for rolling dice one time. I mean, you can imagine, like, once you get to that level, every roll is $100, and there's like, 30 rolls, 20 rolls in an hour. So you're making $2,000 an hour if the roll lasts, right? Now, most people would say, Well, why don't you just start at the $100 level where you just start where you're getting paid $100? And uh, I I could do that, and if I do, it's a bigger don't pass for me because remember, I play the don't pass and I play the light side, light in the darkness, and um, if the 7 comes, I get my money back. Um, but I like to start lower and build up and press. Use the casino's money to get to the place where I'm getting paid as much. So let's see. Because if you did that 500, what was it, 500 or something? You know, if you were up where you're at $500 out there, you need $500 here. 500 is the max bet on a Royal Caribbean ship here. So you can only play for $1,000 at a time, really, if you're going to play the light and the darkness strategy. But that would be 1,000 points an hour. You would win a free cruise with 1,200 points. So a little bit over an hour, you'll have a free cruise. But can you risk 500 on a come out without hitting a 7 or 11? That's the big question. So yeah, 5 and 9 adding 15. All right, so stream going good? Everybody, it's good and clear? Because I can answer some questions or have any thoughts that you're wondering about before we either wrap it up or do something that you would suggest us do. Because I know there's sometimes people want to do a rollout. I could do a rollout, but just wanted to talk about pressing. And wow, took a while to talk about pressing. I'm gonna have to put this video down into like 15 or 20 minutes. This training, teaching, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of people learning how to play craps, so I'm trying to, do a public service that if people learn how to play craps, we can have some more continuity at the table. The more people that know how to play. The more people that know how to play craps, the better. Because then they'll understand etiquette, they'll understand what they're doing. It won't be so painful to watch people lose money so much because they don't really know how to play. They come up with the $300, $500. They're there for like 4 shooters and then they walk away broke. And I don't like to see that. I don't want to see that. I want to see people that know how to play, that can play for a long time. And they'll get paid. They'll actually get paid, not only with money, but with a free cruise. That's what it's all about. Public service announcement. That's what I should do. Have a have a series of public service announcements for all the people that are learning to play craps. So, all right. Let's see. There's learning the game, but there's also learning how to play in order to win a cruise. Yeah, you got it. That's for sure, Chris. That's for sure. So, I really like this, knowing, and this just happens where playing over and over and over, this is kind of where I fell into the pressure and I say pressure, but that's a slang term, pressure, add some pressure on the 4, pressure on the 5. So if you had a 5, like a hard way, and it was like a $5 hard 8, oh, you can't see that, $5 hard 4, and you had another 5, you could just throw it in and say pressure the 4, and they know you're talking about the hard 4. So you could say pressure the hard 4. So pressure is a good slang term. Press, if you are on the hard ways, parlay is one that you want to say. Now on the hard ways or any kind of prop bet, you would use the word parlay, but out on the box numbers, you wouldn't use the word parlay because it doesn't work to use the word parlay most of the time because of the payouts. Because parlay means to take all your winnings and put it back. So if you had $10 on the hard 8, for example, and it paid $90 and you said parlay, they would make it look like $100. So from a $10 bet, it would be a $100 bet. If that hit, you would get paid $900 or 1,000, because if that hit, I would just take the 900. I would leave the 100 there. The max bet actually on a cruise for the hardways is 150, $150. So maybe I should rethink that, because if it does hit and I get $900, then I should probably just make it look like 150. Max, if one of them hits, right? If one of them hits on a $900 payout, I'm gonna say max out all the hard ways. They'll all have 150 on it. That's for sure. So not a lot of people would play as much hedging as you do in a land casino. Yeah, I don't either, but I've been thinking lately maybe I should, because man, the land casinos aren't any better, as far as like long rolls or anything. But it would make sense if you're really playing for points. Yeah. Yeah, I'm playing for points. I wanna make money, but I also want to make points. So I'd rather stay at the table for a long while. And when a long roll happens, like I just rolled out a video, they'll be coming out soon. But I rolled out a video with $1,000 doing my light in the darkness strategy. But I did it with like the 6 and 8 working, and then I actually laddered up when I lost. And it was crazy because there was like 2 7s in a row, and I lost and I lost. And I was in on the last roll, and then I just happened to have a little roll, and I won all the money back, like all the $1,000 back, within the video. And I've done it on a cruise too, but I'm glad it actually showed out on a video, because some of the videos I do, they just happen really, really good. Some are kind of like in the middle, but I haven't had one that was really bad and then came back within one video. So that was really cool, because that's how, I mean, sometimes I'll do it like that, where um, if I'm winning, I'll go up to win more, so that when I lose, I have profit to play with. So, all right. So I'm taking notes on the time and the day and the live stream. It could be that when we had our first live stream, like when we first started this, it was so glitchy and so like, not good quality, that it didn't push it out to a bunch of people. Or maybe this day at this time, nobody's watching these lives. So I'll keep note of that and try to get out there when people want to be watching these. But those that are here now, and what I say is sometimes I have 15 people watching right now. I can't tell the running, probably had 1,000 people pass through. Um, but sometimes there's like over 100 people watching at a time. And sometimes it's like 60, 50, between 50 and 100 are watching. And we're about half that, which is totally fine. More of a, what do you call it? Intimate experience, just for less people that want to chat. So I'm going to answer any questions. Um, and from that point, I'll kind of wrap it up. I want to make sure if you have any questions about craps or playing craps on a cruise to earn a free cruise, then give them to me now and I will answer them. And then, and I'm just going to kind of clean this up and see if any stuff comes in. So actually, I should leave it, and I'm going to take a picture when I'm done. I'm going to take a picture of this. Where did I even get this? Oh my goodness. That would be, no, this is wrong. This is wrong. 42. And then 60. 90. So anyway, I had that wrong. So, wow. Good thing I didn't take a picture of it. All right. Well, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. And as I always say, I hope to see you cruising and rolling on a craps table soon. Thanks, Chris, for being here and helping out with the chat, and DH and everybody else that was here. Thank you so much. I hope this helps. And like I said, a long form, not like I'll do another, not a live, but a regular video that explains the pressing and how to do the pressing and how I would suggest doing the pressing. So again,